Hello and welcome back to the Flower Gold Wizard channel. I'm Jason, a part-time gold prospector based in Wisconsin. This is Ryan.
Hey guys.
That's Rigby. And we're gonna see if there's any difference between a large crick and a small crick. And we stopped at this location because I've done really well here in the past, and it just happens to be on the way to a really small crick. So we're gonna punch a shovel in the dirt today and see if there's any difference. Back in a bit. We're just about ready to set up, and I'll run through the equipment I brought, or at least some of it. Now I've got my big sluice here. I got that from Pirate Prospecting. And as you can see, it's got a little drop down tray right there, and it holds my mat in there real nicely. I used to have two of those, so if anybody sees a sluice that's made just like that without the leg holder on there, with this thing on there, you go ahead and let me know. Moving on, I've got my XP pan here I got from Secret Creek Prospecting, and I've got an Infinity Prospecting sticker on there because those guys have been really good to me and I really appreciate them, so I got their sticker on there. And this pan, I really like the color, and it's got multiple capture surfaces on there. It's got some larger riffles, as you can see, some smaller ones, and on this side here, I'll get up in there a little bit, you can see it's got snake skin on there. That's for that real fine powder stuff. It's really small grooves. Now that I got my thumb in there, you can see the surface compared to the smooth surface. Now I have this pan all seasoned up. It's brand new. And of course my Garrett Super Sluice pan, the go-to for out in the field. Now, Ryan's already up there, and there's already a dam here. I don't even have to put any work in here. Remember, guys, to take down your dams when you're done. It's just the courteous thing to do. Leave it like you found it. And today I'm not going to leave it like I found it, because when I'm done, I'm going to take down this dam. We're going to work up on this edge here a little bit. We've gotten some pickers here in the past, along with Iowa Gold Prospector and Jeff at Jeff's Midwest Outdoors. We all got pickers right in that line right there. So before we get to our little tiny creek, I want to see if there's any difference in the layering of the material here versus in a little bit smaller area, which is probably a third size of this creek right here. So let me get some stuff set up. I'll do a little classifying. He's going to sniff out the gold. Back in a bit. Well, we've been digging here just a little bit. Ryan did a test pan right up along shore, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, right along here. Right
next to a shovel. And he had some nice pieces in there. One larger one in particular. And there is a high clay content in this stuff. It looks to be a mixture of gray clay, as you can see right there. And then some kind of white to yellow, I don't know, yellow clay mixture mixed in with all this stuff. There's like little pockets of it here and there. So what I want to find out is if I dig straight down, if we have gray clay, gravel, yellow clay, you know, what the deposits are. And then I'll probably move out a little bit and see if I can locate the same type of deposit as, say, in this bank right here, or not in the bank, but next to the bank. And then up creek that way, well, quite a ways, there's another really small creek that's probably only this wide, right about here. I want to see if there's the similar layering over there. So we're going to spend a little while here. I'm going to fill up a pail. Look at here. Ryan's using my old classifier. He likes that.
Old Jocelyn.
That's right. That's Russell. So we're going to spend some time here. I've got the sluice set up over there. I'm going to blast through a shovel or a pail full of this stuff real quick. See if we can't find us a nugget, or at least a nice little pile of flower gold. And then we're going to move on. Let's take a look at this material up close. I know I showed it a little bit on camera before. That just doesn't do it justice of right up close and personal. Here's what I'm talking about, that gray clay right here. Now it's not so dense that you can't penetrate it with your thumb, but it's still pretty good and dense. And along with that is a nice layer of sandy gravels, nice looking red color to it. And here's the gravels that come along with it. And as you can see, that stuff is stuck to that clay, just like that. So you want to make sure you get all those rocks really good and clean and that clay all broken down. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a test pan because I forgot. Let's see what's in it. Well, rig bomb can't make it down the bank. You got to go down there, buddy. Well, anyway, here's our first test pan right here. And it looks like we've got roughly, I don't know, 9 or so pieces in there. Let me see if I can get that to hocus focus. Sure I can. Now they're pretty small, kind of scattered about here and there, but they're not the smallest. There's plenty smaller in here. And that just means I might have to dig down just a little bit deeper, or maybe left, right, out further, who knows. So I'm going to keep filling up my pail with classified material right here, and we're going to run it through a sluice. More material, more gold. All right, now that I've got that bucket filled up, we're going to run it through my sluice, pan it out, and see what one full bucket brings us. All right, here's the initial scoop right here. We've got a good amount of water running through this sluice, but those riffles, that drop riffle mat right there can take it. That's a VDR, Vortex drop riffle. As you can see, everything's working around in there real nicely. I might have to move one side up just a little bit, but that's how you tell. You throw a scoop on there and you find out. Now I do see a piece of gold in my indicator mat already, right there. Get it up out of the shade if I can. But I guarantee you there's gonna be something good to see in this mat right here. Rigby knows what he's talking about, and he likes grass. All right, now that was a little over a half a 5-gallon pail. Now I don't like to fill them up all the way, especially with material with so much clay content in it, because it'll all smash down and you'll have a big hard lump at the bottom. So out of a half of a 5-gallon pail, we've got it run. Now I'm leaving this clean out just a little bit. But you can see gold sitting down in that very first drop riffle right there. Now I'm sure all these little spinnerets are carrying gold as well. As a matter of fact, I can see some in that one right there. And there are a number of pieces laying up a little bit higher that didn't even drop into there yet. And sometimes it's a little bit hard to get the last of the material out of the pail when it's got a lot of clay. So what I like to do is take my pan and just kind of scrape the bottom and rinse it all out. And I'll go ahead and I'll pan this out right here, the last of the last. And usually I find some pretty good gold in that stuff. So we'll take just a little bit of time here and pan this out. And the reason being, I think, that I really find good amounts of gold in the very bottom is because when you're jostling all that material around with your classifier, well, it's doing the same thing as the sluice concept. It's dropping the heavies to the bottom with all the splashing around of the water and all the movements. And the same thing's going on with this here pan right now. I'm splashing it all around and all the heavies are dropping at the bottom. So that was pretty quick. We'll pull that back. Let me see if I can do this all one-handed. I like this new pan. It's got a good stiffness to it. And once you get it seasoned up, I think it holds on to the gold nicely. I haven't experimented too much with that snake skin yet, but I think it's going to work out just fine. And I am seeing some gold in there. Let me get that down in there. See, there's gold showing up all over the place in there. Absolutely. So I'll just take that. Oh yeah, once I get the rest of that black sand, there's some slightly larger pieces. Hopefully that's focusing. Sure it is. There it is. Nice. I'll just go ahead and I'll take that. I'll dump it right on my sluice. Grab the other side of this baby here. Just like this. And you can see that gold sticks on there for just a minute before it goes washing off. That's a really good way to tell if you're on good ground or not. See all that gold sitting on there yet? That's my indicator mat. Works great. So we'll leave that clean off for just a minute. And we'll pan it out. And the gold. Now that is a half of a 5-gallon pail right there. There are a number of larger pieces in there for sure. Now I panned this into my Garrett Super Sluice. Now I don't want to say I did it quickly, but I did not take my time by any means. So are we on some pretty decent gold? I would say definitely. Do we leave gold to find gold? Maybe. We'll have to run that by the mine boss. He's over there holding my jacket down. What do you think, Rigby? Do we find another spot? You big handsome ham. That's right. Well, we decided to run one more. I mean, we're both getting pretty good gold over here. Ryan said he's getting some nice pieces. He's over here just panning. See, he's down into that clay as well. See that? All them gravels sitting on top of that clay right there. That's where it's at. Look at that, mixed right in there. So he's gonna continue pulling out nuggets. I'm gonna run one more pail and then we're gonna take a hike. Video update. All right, we've got our second half pail of classified material run. This one might even be a little bit better. Look at all that in there. That's probably about the same, maybe just a couple of hairs more gold than that first one. But I would say for a level 5-gallon pail of classified material, this times 2 is pretty darn good. Well, we are. I'm gonna pack up my gear and I'm gonna stick to the plan. I want to go up and see what that small creek has to offer. Rigby here's chomping at the bit to get moving. P.S. Before we leave, we took apart this dam. Here it was right here. It's gone now. We want to be able to use areas like this. We got to respect the land a little bit and take down our dams. There we go. On to the next one. Back in a bit. Well, after a short 44-mile hike, Rigby led us here. Now this little creek, as you can see, that's only about 8 feet wide right there. And it widens out a little bit in small stretches like right there. But the majority of it is just a little trickle. Now there's enough water running through here that I can set up my sluice pretty much anywhere I want. And one of the advantages of working a smaller creek like this is it's easy to set up a little dam to put up a little sluice. Now what catches my eye right off the get-go is look at the bank. Look at the cobbles smashed up and built right into this bank right here. That's telling me there's a layer of gravel and cobbles to be worked in here all the way along that outside bank, and that's going to be holding the heaviest of the heavy material right there, the stuff that in the high water is not getting blown away. And these cobbles go all the way up into there that I see, and then it turns kind of into mud again. And here's a nice tight inside bend right here. It's got a big sand deposit right up on top, so I'm going to probably get this area right here set up for my sluice. And I'm going to do some sampling. I think the first place I'm going to sample, let me back up. Here's that corner we were just standing on. I'm going to sample right in there, right up at the front of that outside bend. And then I'll take a couple of samples right up tight here. And then maybe this little channel right here that in extreme high water, this inside bend is real, all this is underwater right here. And it's forming a deposit right in between all these big clumps of grass right here. Ryan can't wait. He's already diving in over there on that little side channel. He said he's had luck here before, so we'll have to take a little look. But the thing I see the most is that outside bend right there. Let me get set up and we'll take a little look at it. I've got my first test shovel out of this hole right here. I wanted to start on this outside bank, as you can see. And we'll take a little look at it here. And as you can see on top, it's got some really nice looking gravels in there. I haven't hit any clay yet, but it does look like it's turning into some denser type sandy material here. Actually, that is clay right there. It's mixed with brown clay and gray clay, as you can see. So that's a good sign. I'm going to classify a decent amount of that and do a little test pan with my Garrett Super Sluice over there. And then if I see anything worthwhile, we're going to set up the sluice and run it. All right, mine boss here put us on a good spot. That first test pan right there looks pretty promising. Those are fairly bigger pieces. Let me see if I can get my finger in there. They get plenty smaller than that, so I'm happy with the size and the shape. There's some longer pieces in there for sure. And that's just out of that one hole. Now, just because there's decent gold to be had right there, it doesn't mean I'm not going to keep testing. Now what I'm going to do is I'll move up in the shape of that outside bend right there just a little bit more, because there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. This is the end. Now I'll try it on the middle. And I did notice while I was panning the lack of black sand. There was hardly any black sand in there at all, but there was decent gold. I'm looking for black sand in particular because it's the next heaviest thing in the creek. And if I find a large amount of black sand, I think I'm going to find bigger pieces and probably more of them. So I'm just going to slide up maybe 20, 25 feet and try it right in there. Let's see what happens. All right, so we slid up about 20 feet right from there to right there. And this is roughly the center of the start and the end of this outside bank right here. Now here's the material I'm getting out of the center. Mostly gravels. There's very little sand. There, you get a little bit with each scoop. I'm not seeing any clay, but there's way more larger gravel in this location right here than there was right there. So let me get a great big pan's worth of classified material here, and we'll pan it. Back in a bit. All right, location number 2 results. Less gold and smaller. There they are right there. Now there's only 3 or 4 of them in there, and they're smaller, and it's noticeably different material. There was clay over in here, and I never got down to the clay in that area. It just keeps going down rocks and rocks and rocks. I think the current might be just a little bit too heavy right there in the crux of this outside bend. And it's washing all the light stuff away, and the gravels keep settling on top of each other, which is why I wasn't hitting any sand or clay or nothing. So I'm going to move up just a little bit, kind of where Ryan's over there working, or maybe I'll just let him do that one and we'll see what's in it. That'll save me a bend over. You only get so many. There's a number. So we'll see what he gets out of that pan. In the meantime, I'm going to set my sluice up, because if I don't find anything else anywhere else here, that spot I think is worth mining, and we're here. So that's the plan. Back in a bit. It's the Chris Lilly Rock of the Week. I haven't done one of them in a while. Now, my buddy Chris, he lives up in Canada. That's north. And every once in a while I find some cool rocks, and every once in a great while I mail him one. Most of the time I just show him off on camera and tell him I'm going to mail him one. This is such a rock. It's got some really cool banding in it and some striations of some sort or another, and really cool red band there with what feels like a agate type quartzy band right above that one there. Maybe I will mail this one via air. Test pan from location 1, inside bend. Right about here where it starts, the inside of this bend here. I took a great big heaping pan right there, and here's the gold right here. Nothing, not even one little speck. Very little black sand. I got down a little ways. So I think what I'm going to do, I do have my sluice set up, by the way. I'm going to take another sample. I'm going to come around the corner here just a little bit, right to where it straightens out right here, where it goes off into that little offshoot. And I'm going to try right on that corner right there. Back in a bit. Well, I didn't bring any beef sticks, so Rigby's filling up on grass. Okay, so location number 2, inside bend. I took a sample. Here's my sluice right underneath my shovel handle right there. And as you can see, I'll try to show that. It's coming around and it straightens out right here. So I took a nice deep sample right there. I got, I don't know, 4 or 5 pieces, but one real nice one right there. Look at that piece right there. I'm happy with that. Now, I definitely had more pieces over there, but that one is bigger. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna snuffer that one up and take another sample, maybe down a little deeper or right next door right there, just to see if I didn't land on something by accident. And if it turns out to be decent gold, well, then I got two good spots. One right there and one right there. Guess which one's closer to the sluice? Well, that one. Well, Ryan's taking off. He's hungry.
Yep.
No such luck, Rigby. You're sitting here with me. Eat some more grass. Let's take a look at Ryan's gold today. Now, he just did some panning. Yeah, it looks like you got some chunkier pieces in there for sure. All right, very cool, very cool. All right, well, until the next time, and there will be one soon, I'm sure.
Yep.
Have a good day.
See you guys.
Well, Ryan's been gone a little while now. Rigby's bugging me to get out of here. You must be hungry too. I ran a couple of pails over to Sluice there. I got it out of the water and did some clean outs. And I don't think this spot is as good as the spot we started out at. As far as small creek versus big creek, there wasn't much of a difference, I don't think. Maybe in the location of the material, just because the action of the water in this area is a little more pronounced, being so small. As you can see, the cobbles go all the way across right there, and then right into light wash sand and clay up against there. And there may be some really awesome spots to prospect in this particular area. But you know us, we got to test. Well, me and Rigby have been panning, testing spot after spot after spot. We did find a couple of decent spots, and I'm not quite done yet. I'm going to keep plugging along here for another hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, as long as my back can stand it. But I did find a piece of note, and I'll give you a little look-see right here. Ta-da! Nice little piece, I can feel it. And that came along with a number of other smaller pieces. That was just one little test pan here, maybe half full or so, not classified. So I'm gonna plug away at this hole here a little bit more and see if I can't find another giant nugget. Back in a bit. Ooh. Well, between panning and sluicing, we ran a ton of material. Here's our sluice concentrates right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and run that over my cleanup sluice I got from Infinity Prospecting. That thing works fantastic. And we'll see what kind of gold we get. Back in a bit. All right, now we got that material all run. We'll just give it a quick little clean out here. I'll throw it in my pail. Turn it on just a little bit with my speed controller. Just give her a little shake. Maybe brush it just a touch. Just like that. As simple as that. Let's see what kind of gold's in it. All right. And the gold. We did well. Now, I do believe a lot of those larger flakes right there came from the first spot we were at. Ryan had a number of pieces I do believe he could probably pick up. I can't quite get any of these picked up, but they're still really good looking in a pan. And there's just tons and tons of absolute powder fine flour gold in there. But that's what we do around here at Flour Gold Wizards. Flour gold. Well, I don't know if there's a huge difference between Big Creek and Little Creek, but in the small ones, it's a little bit easier to, say, set up a dam and tell what the water is doing to the material in the body of water you're working. For instance, in that small creek, there's not a whole lot of room for variations. I mean, you got gravel, inside bend sand. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than that. You may have more opportunity in a larger creek just because it's larger. So we did have a great time today. We got a number of awesome pieces. Thanks again, Ryan, for coming along. Me and Rigby had a blast again, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. So until the next episode, like, share, subscribe. Please do leave a comment. It helps build my channel. Check out my Patreon page in the description box below. Flour Gold Wizards out.